everyone. I'm really excited to introduce you to James Lane, who's the founder of Radiant. So welcome, James. Great to have you on the Pep Talk this month.
Thank you very much for having me. Very happy to be here.
Great. And so this week, or this month, I should say, so we're going to be talking a little bit more about how brands can use their website as more of a kind of strategic branding tool, how they can get the best out of it, particularly kind of focused on D2C brands. I know we both work with those types of brands. So yeah, really excited to kind of dig into this, particularly as it has quite a lot of overlap in terms of the type of work we're doing from an email and SMS perspective. So I guess first question is, well, if you could give us a little bit of background into Radiant and your role there, that would be fab.
Of course, yeah. So I started the company in 2018. So we had our 5th anniversary recently. We're a Shopify and Shopify Plus design and dev agency. We work with clients on a project basis as well as a retained basis. So project-wise, that's designing and developing completely new websites, basically for a brand that is going through that, I guess, that larger transition. And then on a retained point of view, we're working with clients on a monthly basis, and we're looking into all of their key metrics and basically trying to improve them, as well as working with them on like a support and maintenance type role as well. If they do need to build in certain features or functionality or anything like that, we're there to kind of support them with that too. Like yourself, we work a lot with health and wellness brands, but we also do other work with other brands like jewelry brands. We work with a lot, and fashion brands and food and beverage and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, nice broad range, but still having that kind of that niche in the sort of health, wellness, lifestyle. Yeah, makes sense. Cool. And I guess kind of you mentioned initially working with clients on a kind of a project basis to if they're coming to you with a full new scope and wanting a complete rebrand, new website. In your experience, what are some of the sort of most important elements that brands should consider when designing a new website or optimizing an existing one? I know that's quite a big question, so to kind of feel free to take it in whichever direction you like, but are there particular elements that are more important than others? Where are the sort of the key focuses?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess from a visual point of view, it's really important that the website reflects the brand, so there's a consistent journey through the marketing, the product, the packaging, and through to the website as well. It's a non-negotiable to kind of make sure that all the proper brand assets are being used. So the colors and logo, fonts, all of that kind of stuff, we want to make sure are on there, as a starting point. But you can also get more creative with it, so you can kind of push things a little bit further as well. An example of this is with our client Cobra Skincare. It's a skincare brand. Obviously, their products come in these like frosted glass tubs. So we wanted to kind of get an element of that in. So we've added a frosted glass effect to their kind of menu navigation, and likewise with their packaging, it's all kind of tortoise shell. So we've got that in with the footer as well. So you can be creative with it and add things like that are going to create more of that kind of cohesiveness from the website through to when they actually receive the products. Likewise with our client Muddy Puddles, which is a kidswear brand. They've got super fun, colourful, kids clothing. So we wanted to make sure that some of that playfulness came across in the website. We didn't want a customer going there looking for really fun out there kids clothes and seeing a really boring, dull website. So we managed to, or we wanted to kind of incorporate, some of that colour and shapes and splodges and all sorts of stuff kind of throughout the site. But we wanted to do it without compromising on conversions or the effectiveness of the site. So I think that's another really important thing that brands need to keep in mind kind of alongside the creative, is that you do these things without kind of compromising on actually how well the website's going to perform. It's all very well and good having a website that looks beautiful and it's completely unique to your brand and it's gorgeous and all of this, but if someone gets there and doesn't know how to use it, or it's got a bad user experience, then it won't convert. So that's something that we take into account, is that we really want to get across the brand's personality and their tone of voice and really what makes them. But we also want to do it with really good UX and make sure that when customers arrive on the store that they're going to be able to check out and make purchases. So that's another really important thing to keep in mind for brands.
Yeah, it's interesting, particularly I guess on the kind of the conversion journey. There must be some I'm sure there's sort of some standard, best practices, and in terms of kind of what makes a really good conversion journey versus a bad one. And I guess it's a lot about kind of tweaking and optimizing as you go, because no two websites are the same and they're different audiences. But are there kind of has there been anything that sort of surprised you over the last few years as you've been doing this, or any kind of key nuggets in terms of that conversion journey and making sure that it's as effective as possible?
One that we had recently for a brand is they had this is purely, I guess, conversion, I think, an average order value as well, but they had on their product page an add to cart and also a buy now button, which you often see on places like Amazon as well. Yeah. And we ran an A/B test, and with the buy now and one without the buy now. And what we found is that the conversion rate, I can't remember the exact numbers, but the conversion rate improved a lot, and so did average order value when we removed that buy now button.
Okay.
So yeah, we just kind of put that down to, I guess, people taking their time to browse more and adding to cart and coming back and adding more products and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was an interesting little nugget from recently.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then maybe, I guess, potentially having two options potentially confuses the consumer as well, whereas if it's just a standard add to cart, which I guess is more usual on e-commerce, then it's maybe a more straightforward. Yeah, it's interesting. Maybe people are browsing more and wanting to kind of shop around a bit and then come back versus.
Yeah, I think for companies like Amazon, where they know exactly what they need and they just go there and they want it to be quick and they know that their address and everything is saved in there, then it makes sense. But for something where they need to browse and learn about the products and that kind of stuff, it seems to be detrimental.
That's interesting to know, and actually comes on to kind of my next question, which is around sort of metrics and keeping track of numbers. You mentioned at the beginning you kind of go from that project into often kind of the maintenance or ongoing sort of success phase. Are you involved in the sort of the metrics and the website tracking and making those tweaks and changes as you go there? And if so, what are the sort of key metrics that you're keeping an eye on? Are there any that are particularly important, other than, I guess, the obvious ones, which are sort of conversion and that sort of thing?
I mean, conversion rate is a big one, of course. So that's one that we definitely do keep an eye on. We look at that on both desktop and mobile, because they'll have different user journeys and also different benchmarks for different industries, depending on device as well. So we'll keep an eye on that and just make sure that our clients are kind of where we would expect them to be or kind of higher. We also want to look at things like average order value, lifetime value of the customer as well, because those are just as important as well, if not more important. I think if a brand has done a good job of creating a brand that really resonates with people, they're going to have a much easier time getting those repeat purchases, and they're going to have an easier time selling more on each kind of visit to the site as well. So those are things that we want to look at. It's all well and good having a decent conversion rate, but we want to be focusing on those other ones as well.
That long-term retention, getting people to come back, makes sense. And I mean, one of the things is that we focus on a lot from our perspective is kind of building long-term relationships with customers and increasing that LTV. What are sort of the key role or key tactics that you guys use to kind of help get people back on site, or help customers, or brands I should say, build those long-term relationships with their customers?
So we're focused on kind of all of those metrics that I mentioned. So we start with typically like a design or dev audit, or both usually, to establish any kind of quick wins, any like high impact things. There might be things that are really obvious just from kind of looking that someone can do to improve. So we'll start with that, and then following that we'll kind of dive into the data a bit more, looking at stuff like Google Analytics and Hotjar as well, to see where users are coming off the site or how far they're scrolling down a page. We do also work a lot with, you know, tech partners and agency partners like yourself as well, to ensure that there's, you know, a proper strategy across search, social, email, SMS, and the website as well. And then, yeah, you know, from there, you know, we could be doing any number of things. It could be that we're building in like a loyalty program on the website to encourage like repeat purchases and, you know, sharing. It might be that we're building in like reviews or a UGC platform to encourage, you know, some social proof and that kind of stuff. We could be you know, building landing pages if we know that there's like an email campaign coming up with something that we need a specific kind of landing page for. We could be building stuff like that. So yeah, it's a kind of broad range of things that we might be working on, really.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. And then last question for me, this is a bit of a curveball, but are there any kind of key trends that you're seeing that have come up over the last year, few months, that you think are sort of really here to stay in terms of the web development side of things, in terms of your clients or what you're seeing in the industry? What's sort of working in terms of trends at the moment, if anything?
Key trends. We're doing quite a bit of with a few clients at the moment, and this might be kind of this might be specific to kind of the skincare world, is we do quite a lot of like gift with purchase type stuff. So we're seeing that as quite a good way of getting people kind of to make their first purchase. Is, you know, if they have that added incentive, maybe it's you know, something that they maybe it's a nice added extra or something that they kind of need for the first purchase. But yeah, we've been adding some gift with purchase kind of incentives to like the checkout and stuff like that to yeah, to try and incentivize that first purchase and that higher order value as well.
Yeah, interesting. That we've seen similar actually, again, in the sort of health, wellness, sort of skincare world within a new client we've recently started working with, yeah, more on the kind of gift with purchase side of things. So yeah, maybe that's here to stay. Great, thank you. That's been, yeah, super helpful, and yeah, really great to chat, and thanks for coming on.
Awesome, thanks very much for having me. It's been yeah, good to chat.
Great, thanks.
Thanks, Georgie.